Hello and welcome to the 2020 Turbosmart Ultimate Street Car Challenge, run alongside the Tuner's Edge Drag Battle and GTR Challenge at Cootamundra Airport. Now, exactly as the name suggests, we are looking for the ultimate street car. We're looking for something that looks good, turns heads and can wow the crowd when you pop the hood. But it doesn't just need to be able to make big power, it has to be able to put it down and use it and remain drivable. Now that's a lot harder than you think when every one of our competitors makes over 1,000 horsepower. An XR6 Turbo Ute, an S14 with an RB26 conversion and a sequential, 3 R35s with 1240, 13 and 1400 horsepower, War GTR on 1400 horsepower with a Samsona sequential and a twin turbo Lamborghini. What a lineup. First up, let's take a look at the judging criteria and then we'll take a look at the cars and see who won. The Turbosmart Ultimate Street Car looks at 6 criteria: engineering, presentation, drivability, lap time, elapsed time down the quarter mile, and mile per hour. This year, there was thunderstorms on Thursday, meaning the drive from Yass to Cootamundra and the handling circuit were unfortunately cancelled. This meant that engineering and presentation were now worth 20 points each. We don't judge it based on being stock or modified, just judging on what's in front of us. Engineering looks at workmanship quality, brakes and if they match performance, wheels and tyres that suit the application, cooling system that copes with the power and street duties, drivetrain to match the power, suspension and safety to match performance. Presentation is broken down into theme, wheels, interior, engine bay, exterior mods, and wow factor. Drivability looks at the trans and clutch smoothness, seats and interior comfort, suspension compliance, aircon and ventilation, noise and vibration, engine responsiveness, and our favourite part, the bad score. Basically, how much of a badass do you feel like when you're driving the car on the street? Cars have to perform at least 2 full passes and their best 2 runs are averaged together for ET and mile an hour. The fastest car gets 20 points and the slowest gets 5, with everything else scaled in between. Once judging is tallied up, we have our winner and also awards for top 2-wheel drive and top GTR. So let's take a look at the competitors in what was the quickest, fastest and closest Turbosmart Ultimate Street Car to date. First up, a mighty Barra with Steve Zamet's XR6 Turbo Ute from Precision Racing. The built engine and ZF Auto box has a 76mm turbo hanging off it and controlled by an Haltech Elite plug-in ECU. It's got some serious drag radial rubber stuffed under the back, but it's still hard to put down the 1,000+ horsepower in any gear on a street surface. I think Aaron and Steve purposely set me up with this, didn't you?
Maybe.
You purposely set me up. You set me up. You want me to drive a Barra. I've actually never driven a Barra powered Ute before. No. I've only driven sedans. Drives way more pleasantly than I probably expected.
Smooth between shifts.
We can just cruise along. The shift is good actually.
Yeah.
It's pretty smooth.
Dude, I had half throttle, man.
Yeah, it comes on easy,
That
yeah.
was actually pretty easy to do, man.
Yeah.
It wasn't a big deal. I wasn't
No.
worried.
No.
So that's actually surprisingly not an unbearable car to drive around in.
Well, the internet keeps demanding that I drive more Barras and that I become a Barra fan, and Barras are the best and Barras make... Well, you know what though? Steve's Barra does make over 1,000 horsepower. And I've always said the same thing, and that is they don't handle that great, but they're not meant to be a sports car, right? They're meant to be a big, comfortable sedan or ute. The biggest thing I was surprised about with Steve's car is you can put a lot of speed on using part throttle without having to drive too aggressively. So if you give it everything, it'll fry the tyres. But if you just want to get moving, instead of being a laggy pig, because it's a 4-litre Barra, it's still got plenty of mid-range grunt, and it's actually pretty easy to drive around normally. Like anything with 1,000 horsepower though, you've got to know what you're doing, got to have a good tyre under it, and that car's set up pretty well. It hooks up better than I thought when I did give it at least a bit of a squirt, but if you want, you can just fry the tyres everywhere. So the good thing about that car from a drivability perspective is you can drive it around normally, but you can also blaze tyres. The torque the Barra makes means it's hard to put the power down, and Steve's best ET was 11.2 and 142 miles per hour. Our next rear-wheel drive is JJ's amazingly presented S14 Silvia. It has an RB26 conversion with one of the tidiest engine bays around and an immaculate custom interior. The RB26 is a CRD-built Nitto 2.8 stroker with a race-ported head and precision 76-75 turbocharger with a Motec ECU, making 1,060 horsepower at the hubs, channeled through a Samsonus 6-speed sequential. JJ's car scored very well in engineering and presentation. Let's see how it goes for drivability. In my S14. You can just drive that like a normal car, man. She's slightly noisy. Yeah. Actually got really good mid-range. That's actually pretty good.
It's the first time in the passenger seat.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Are you alright, mate?
Yeah, I'm right.
You alright?
Less scary when you're driving.
The car's not as scary as I probably thought it would be. It's actually really well composed.
We've done everything to make the car go straight.
You've done well, bro.
Yeah.
You've done well to hammer the boys to keep developing it, because that's good. So one thing I've learned about driving these cars at Ultimate Street Car is don't actually ask the horsepower before you drive. I used to ask, so I kind of thought I knew what to expect, but sometimes you're better off not to ask. Reason being, if you said, go drive 1,000 horsepower Silvia, I'd go, they're pretty undrivable, dude. But they're not. JJ's car actually is still really good to drive. Even with sequential, RB in it, big drag radials, really the only thing that makes it a little bit uncomfortable is just at high speed. The drag radials have a bit of vibration, but you could drive that around on the street no problem. Now, it's certainly not going to be a daily, but as a weekend car, definitely go cruising in that thing. And the biggest thing that surprised me about JJ's car is you can still actually get quite a bit of pace going without really getting right onto boost. You can keep it just off the gate opening and ride that mid-range torque, which is surprising for a 76, 75. Still very drivable. But once you get past that and the gate opens, all hell breaks loose. And but if you roll into it, it stays straight and you can get a fair bit of power down. Launching, obviously very difficult in a rear-wheel drive, but a roll-on, man, I think JJ was a little bit scared in the passenger seat because he's never been in it before, but that was awesome. When it comes to ET and mile per hour, JJ was nearly a second quicker than the XR6 and was second quickest six-cylinder two-wheel drive at Drag Battle. His best was 10.235 at a stonking 156 miles per hour. More than enough to secure him the two-wheel drive win in the 2020 Turbosmart Ultimate Street Car Challenge.
Car performed all weekend. Top end charge is unbelievable in this car, yeah. Crowd and power, just real good. Every pass was a low 10-second pass. There was probably 10 of them, so I don't know what I've got to change to go 9. My driving probably a bit more seat time and I should get there, yeah.
The funny part is a low 10 here is honestly in a car like that, it's a low 9 at the track straight away.
Yeah, straight away, yeah. So we'll see how we go at the track, I think, next.
In part 2 of the 2020 Turbosmart Ultimate Street Car, we check out the four-wheel drive monsters. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss all the action.